we've got some tropical sage here. And what we're gonna look at, we got a couple things going on that I can see. We've definitely got some dead, and we definitely have some dying, and we also have some disorderly. And so we're gonna look at how we're gonna prune that away. Tropical sage is a Florida wildflower, and it's gonna be very common for the wildflowers to put their flowers out, then they're gonna expire, turn to seed, drop seed, and then it's just gonna be this dead stalk where that flower once was. Ideally, if we can help it in the aesthetics of the landscape, we're gonna let that flower go through its full cycle because we want those seeds to fall onto the ground, reseed, and put up new plants next season. And so what we're gonna do, we're gonna look at these. They have already expired. They're definitely dead. We definitely have seed drop, and we're gonna start pruning that away. And all I'm gonna do is I'm simply gonna take my pruners here, and I'm just gonna start cutting away everything that looks dead. And we'll start there, all right? So what I'm doing here, I'm going through and I am just doing what we call deadheading. You could add that as the 5th D if you wanted. And then removing some of the larger disorderly stuff. And sometimes I prune a little bit lower to get some more growth at the nodes. But we don't want this to look totally bare if we can help it. And all this pruning, it'll it'll promote some new growth in the plant. So every time you prune, that plant wants to grow back out. Their whole goal is to reproduce. So these cuts force them to want to grow back out so they can continue to bloom and push growth for future flowers. All right, so I want to show a close-up right now of what it means to trim right above a node so you promote more growth right below that node. And so we can do that while deadheading here. So I'm looking here, we got the spent expired flowers. They've already gone to seed and dropped their seed. I'm gonna come right down here into this crotch. And I'm gonna give a nice simple cut right there. We're gonna get rid of that, and what that's gonna do is gonna push more growth into these areas. It's gonna stop trying to produce anything out of this. Let's see. We've got an expired one here, so I'm going to go back a couple nodes. And what a node is, it's just the next point of where growth is going to originate from. A lot of times on these tropical sage, we already got plenty of growth we can cut back to. I'm going to cut back to right there. It's also nice because you don't always even see that prune after it's done, so it doesn't look like the plant was even pruned. It just looks nice again. And one thing I'll point out is sometimes I like to leave some of my prunings in the landscape as long as it doesn't look too bad. The reason is right now we're in fall and winter will be coming around and then spring, and the birds will sometimes come down and they'll take up some of these clippings to build their nest next season. Good. I think we got that one. And then I want to also say for the tropical sage and wildflowers is you can prune these as often as you want as the flowers expire to promote more blooming, more growth, and a denser plant. On the tropical sage, I don't like to let them get much more than 2 to 2.5 feet tall. That'll keep them nice and dense, lots of foliage down at the base, and continuing to push out nice full growth.